guys. Give it up for Greg. And for Denise and David for putting this together. The one that keeps us all on it, so we're good. Hello, I don't know where I am. America? I don't know. Hello, Libertyville. It's good to be here. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Before I go anywhere, I just want to say my name is Gregory Alexander Joseph, and that is my real name. And it's not a stage name. I did not purposely go out and try to find the whitest sounding name for black. And settled on Gregory Alexander Joseph because Bryant Gumbel was already taken. Actually my real name, guys. I'm 45 years old, guys. Thank you very much. Hold your applause. I appreciate it. Happy birthday. And I don't know who is it you? No, happy birthday to you too. Yeah. I'm 45 and people say, Gregory, you look good for your age. And I say thank you, because I'm polite. And the reason I look good for my age, people think, is because black doesn't crack. You guys have heard that, right? And it's true, guys. Black does not crack. But if you watch the news, you know it does attract a lot of bullets. So it's not all good. I don't mind being 45. The only time I don't like being 45 is when I go on a job interview. That is the worst time to be 45. Because I'm always being interviewed by someone who's much, much younger than I am. Like these guys. Like these guys. Like it's true, like a few weeks ago I went on an interview and the interview was over lunch. The woman interviewing me was so young that I literally had to cut her meat for her, right? Have you ever talked about your resume and your work experience while you're doing Here Comes the Airplane? Like it's tough, guys. It's tough. I do like being 45 because that means I am above average. In life expectancy. That's, statistically speaking, I should have been dead sometime around the last episode of Seinfeld. So about myself. It's good to be above average in something because who's the teacher? You're the teacher. I was a really bad student when I was younger. Yeah, I was below average in everything. I remember when I was younger, a friend of mine received the above average in penmanship. I received the below average in penmanship. Now, you guys want to know what happened to that guy who received above average in penmanship? You know what happened? He's dead. That's what happened. He's dead. The guy is dead. But on the bright side, his suicide note was It's good to be back in the Midwest. It's good to be back in the Midwest. I actually went to college in rural Indiana. So it's good to be back here. I was just kind of thinking about it because I'm staying in Chicago and I went to college about 3 hours from Chicago. So like if you got on the highway and drove south to rural Indiana, you would get off somewhere around like 1973. And then you reach your destination. It was weird because I was like one of the only black kids on my campus. You know, when college was really, really happy to have me, they actually built me my own separate bathroom and water fountain. It's so nice. So like my freshman roommate, it's weird. The first thing my freshman roommate said to me was like, "You are the first black person I've ever seen." The second thing he said, I once saw Bigfoot. I mean, come on, it's 1990. You've seen more mythical creatures than you've seen Cosby Kids. I mean, I don't understand that at all. It's not weird. It's not weird. It was weird, not just being black in a weird campus, but it was obviously rural Indiana. So it was very, very, very conservative. And I'm a New York City guy, so I'm very liberal. And so, like, when you're black and liberal on a conservative campus, it messes with your life. You know, like, so when, like, the white women would clutch their purse and walk to the other side of the street, I wasn't sure because I was a black man or because I was president of College Democrats. Like, I was never, I didn't know if they thought I was there to terrorize the community or organize it. It's really weird. I live in Harlem now, in New York. You guys familiar with New York?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I live in, thank you, Gray. Grace loves New York. I live in Harlem now. It's an interesting part of New York City. Because Harlem is still kind of very ghetto and very rough, but it's also now very gentrified. So it's confusing. So like I walk home at night and I'm not sure if I'm going to get mugged or sold an artisanal pickle. Like I actually had a guy stick his gun in my back and said, "Give me your wallet and the location of your yoga studio." Like, all right, guy, you can have my wallet, but that 7:15 Bikram class is crowded as it is. I will take that. All right? I was sitting in my apartment. This is a true story, because all comedians have true stories. This is a true story. I was sitting in my apartment. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I heard 8 gunshots outside my window at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. To me, this says 2 things. 1, broad daylight, no longer the turn to crime. And 2, nobody watches Ellen anymore. Like, I think those are both horrible things. I worry about my mortality. I really worry about my mortality. So I asked a friend of mine, in the event that I die, to come into my apartment and clean out my apartment. And my friends are all comedians. You've seen a few of them here tonight. So they're all degenerate people. They're horrible. My friend thought that I wanted him to come clean out my porn collection. I was like, dude, stay away from my porn collection. I don't want you anywhere near my porn collection. If I die, I want you to come clean out my refrigerator. See, I don't really care if the world knows I watch Japanese porn, but I don't want anyone to know I have 7 types of Dijon mustard. Like, I do like living in Harlem, though. I do like living in Harlem because there's so much history in Harlem. There's a lot of history. It's great to live in the epicenter of African American culture. I love being able to walk down the same streets that Malcolm X walked down, that James Baldwin walked down, the same streets that Harry Belafonte walked down. I just wish those streets had a Panera Bread. Like, that's too much to ask. We're actually building a Whole Foods in my neighborhood. Yeah, we're building a Whole Foods in my neighborhood. That's the sign that it's all over. That's what we're building a Whole Foods on 125th Street, and if you don't know this, 125th Street is also known as Martin Luther King Boulevard. Right? Whole Foods, Martin Luther King Boulevard. I walk by it all day. I try to reconcile King's speeches with the Whole Foods in my mind, and I just can't do it. You know? It's like, because King never said, "I have a dream that one day young Negro and white children will play together in the local produce aisle." Like, he never said that. He never said, "I have a dream that all of God's children, white, black, Jews, and Gentiles will all overpay for apples." Like, I have a dream that one day we'll all sing that old Negro spiritual. Gluten-free at last! Gluten-free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are gluten-free at last. I do a horrible King impression. We all look alike, but we don't sound alike. I'm single for this joke. It was a true story. The gunshots were actually real. I kid you not. But I am single. Here's what happened. Kids in the front, don't ever do this. I made a list of the names of women I'd slept with. Yeah. You ever do that? You ever did that? Have you ever done that? You're making a list right now. I made a list of the names of women I'd slept with. My girlfriend found the list. I know, because I'm not a list. She found the list, and I tried to play it off. I'm like, "Darling, it's not a list of names of women that I'd slept with. It's a list of the names of our potential daughters." Smart guy, right? Yeah. She didn't buy it, guys. She didn't buy it. No, she did not believe I was going to name my child Drunk Chick at Mardi Gras. Like that sounds too much. If you ever get French, if you ever get caught. All my life, people have come up to me and say, "Gregory, you're not black enough." Yeah, I know. The name, it throws you off. I live in Harlem, but don't let that fool you guys. "Gregory, you're not black enough. Gregory, you sound like a white guy. Gregory, you're not a strong black man." Let me tell you, I've heard this from all sorts of people. Friends, family, strangers. When I was younger, my grandparents would come to visit. They'd bring my brother a basketball, me a subscription to Newsweek. All right? Like I heard I wasn't black enough so many times as a kid that when I was 5 years old and Santa Claus asked me what I wanted for Christmas, I told him diabetes. Come on, Libertyville, let it out. Come on, it's okay. It's okay, guys, it's okay. I had this one guy come up to me after the show saying I wasn't black enough because I don't listen to hip-hop. All right? And that is not true. I love hip-hop. I love Jay-Z, guys. That song he does with Coldplay is amazing! I don't like to tell people this because it makes me look bad, but I actually was in a gang when I was younger. That's true. Yeah, I was. Who said no? No? It's true. I was in a gang. Every night, my gangbanger friends, we'd go out, we'd kick ass, and we would take names. Okay, I took the names. I was the gang's recording secretary. It's still the gang, people. We were called the Colored People's Army. CPAs for short. That's how it is. We were the only gang to come to the Rumble with our W-2s in hand. Like, yeah, that was great. A few weeks ago, I went to meet with a movie producer, right? And the producer told me they're making a movie about the life of Barack Obama. And they wanted me to audition for the role of Joe Biden. Like that. Alright, you guys have been so much fun. My name is Gregory Joseph. You guys want to follow? I'm gonna leave you with one more. Can I do
sure,
one
absolutely.
more? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
I don't have one more, but I'm just gonna wing it, maybe? Just gonna wing it?
Yeah.
Alright, let's wing it. Let's talk about the president for a little bit, guys. I know he's from Illinois. I don't want to play political. Well, I do, but I'm just kidding. I've been, he's been president for 8 years, guys. 8 years, right? 8 years. And there's a faction of people out there who still believe that Barack Obama was born in Africa and not in America. You ever hear about these people?
Yeah.
What are they called, young lady? Republicans. It's my show, all right? You're being open mic. The door's opening up for you. What's your name? Gregory. Whatever I'm going to say right now is not going to be funnier than that. Your last name's like Jackson, right?
Birthers.
My birthers. Thank you, Denise. They're called birthers. They believe that the president is born in Africa and not in America. And they believe this despite evidence to the contrary, right? Despite the fact that Barack Obama has produced a birth certificate that says he's born in America. Despite the fact that he's taken the oath of office twice. And despite the fact that Barack Obama is a black man who grew up without a father. You guys can laugh. Because in this country, a black kid growing up without a father is as American as apple pie. You have to admit that, right? Look, I've been to Africa, okay? There are no fatherless children in Africa. The only African I know who grew up without a father was Simba from The Lion King. All right, guys, my name is Gregory.